i.e. around Earth. Death is 100% inevitable. Lifelong regret occurs 80% of the time. But did you know? Our chance of existing may be less than 1 in 10,000. So before this video begins, let me ask, with these odds, do you think our universe arose naturally or was divinely arranged? An experience, perhaps? I haven't discussed the cosmos in ages, so please watch this video patiently, because for you and me, life isn't guaranteed. It's forged by miracles. That's why we exist. Regarding Darwin, you know him well. He explained life's origins with his evolution theory. In the 18th century, this theory sparked an unprecedented revolution in knowledge. But note, traditional faith and creationism clash with evolution. Famed Darwin was actually a devout theist. However, beyond Earth, the Creator wasn't human-shaped. He believed humans are perfect, and death is certain. Similarly, the genius Newton, while studying celestial motion, formulated the law of gravity. But ultimately, who granted gravity to all things? And under balanced gravity, why did a perfect universe form? Including Earth, which nurtures life, and the other planets. Achieving just right gravity, achieving harmonious coexistence. Thus, in his contributions to human science, he ultimately credited these achievements to God's masterpiece. Perfect general. Relativity. Before his passing, he left a classic remark on the Creator. Without religious faith, he was convinced that in the Creator's realm, nothing requires a choice. But the Creator is different from the God described by humans. For God is a spiritual concept, born from human frailty. Spiritual concept. Thus, at the end of Einstein's journey, he too affirmed the Creator's existence. However, the difference is, the Creator, he acknowledged, is not human-like, like the God depicted in Waning Faith. He also believed that many biblical stories are fictional, so he never worshipped a personal deity, and insisted on not turning his home into a living shrine. Finally, as you all surely know, the Chinese Academy academician and Nobel laureate Yang Zhenning. Let's listen to his famous speech on whether the Creator exists and how he expressed it. If you ask me, is there a God? Then, if your God is human-shaped, I think not. But if you ask whether there is a Creator, then I believe there is. For the structure of the world is not accidental. Look at this microphone. It's not accidental. Look at this microphone. It's made in an indescribably marvelous way. This. He wouldn't be that. This couldn't be accidental. Chance could never create something so exquisite. So these arrangements, these are not accidental. And such immense power, this. Where does such influential power come from? Now, you can name it whatever you like. That name, if it doesn't include a human form, I think everyone would accept it. But if you insist on adding a human image, painting one in it, that's your freedom. I won't interfere. but I believe that is unfounded. Placing a human there is baseless. I think that's my answer to your question. But I can add one more thing. I'm now in my 90s. As I've grown older, my view on this issue is changing. In other words, when I was 20, if I spoke more figuratively, at 20 I would have been strongly opposed to personifying the creator or nature. But now, as I've aged, that opposition has waned. Why is that? I think it's because when you're young, you have more confidence. As you age, that confidence diminishes. And why is that? Because the marvelous things you see are countless. I think it's because when you're young, confidence is high. Then, as you grow older, your confidence wanes. Why? Because you witness countless wonders, immeasurably many. And you feel your ability to grasp them shrinks. If you say, it means. You back off a bit. I believe, friends, after watching the intro, you have a basic grasp of the Creator. Thus, as early as 2009, we surveyed Nobel-winning scientists. Results show that among these top-honored scientists, 51% believe in God or the Creator. And the labels God versus Creator depend solely on one's faith. That is, unlike evolution, they represent the same idea. You might feel frustrated because in this percentage, those scientific researchers, why would they affirm a concept science can't explain? Because in our view of science, isn't it meant to stress results and truth? Yet whether God or the Creator, these lie beyond science. So why, among Nobel laureates, do over half endorse it? The reason is that it's all due to our wondrous universe. For the universe itself, including us. Yet all this originates from this wondrous universe. For the universe itself, including us, is formed by countless miracles, merging into one. So first, let's begin with the first miracle, the Big Bang. At the universe's origin, as matter continually contracted, it triggered the Big Bang. The Big Bang resulted from nuclear fusion reactions, converting hydrogen into heavier elements. In that beginning, the relative amounts of elements led to our universe and the birth of humanity. For if light elements were 4% higher, the fusion rate would be overwhelmed by excess hydrogen being consumed in an instant. Thus, all stars would lose their fuel. Simply put, it's like living without the sun. We couldn't exist. Because the sun, in a balanced, stable state, constantly supplies essential elements. Interestingly, this doesn't mean hydrogen's share can be slightly lower, for if reduced, the binding force between protons and neutrons weakens. Thus, without enough force to bind them, stars cannot fuse to create richer elements. So, diverse life elements cannot form. Thus, carbon-based life, like ours, would never arise. Now, let's examine the second miracle, gravitational strength. For instance, if a celestial body's gravity were slightly higher, what consequences would follow? If so, Stars would heat up too rapidly, burning so fast that life couldn't emerge. The star would meet its end before life could form. Expanding further, if gravitational pull increases, all stars would lose their fuel even faster. So broadening the scope, if intergalactic gravity rises, under increased gravity, galaxies would collide. And this applies to all celestial bodies within a galaxy. Thus, if that were so, the universe would be forever trapped in endless, disastrous collisions. Conversely, if a celestial body's gravity were slightly lower, stars would fail to coalesce, thus not reaching the high temperatures needed for nuclear fusion. Without fusion, stars wouldn't shine or heat up, and the planets orbiting them would be frozen into dust in an icy void. Now consider the third miracle, cosmic density. If the density were too high, the universe would collapse before life could emerge. Conversely, if the density were too low, the universe would expand and cool too quickly, eventually halting all activity, entering an almost complete state of stasis and death. Next, the fourth miracle, the uniform distribution of matter in the cosmic background. If it were denser, matter would clump too early, forming an enormous supergalactic structure. Within such massive clusters, all stars would be drawn together by overwhelming gravity, preventing the formation of the planetary systems we know. But if it were too low, the universe's matter would be overly uniform, resulting in a dark cosmos, where gas and dust never coalesce into stars or other bodies. Now the fifth miracle. Within atoms, the proton's mass appears preset for a specific force, as if predetermined. Because the proton is slightly lighter than the neutron, this subtle mass difference is crucial, forming stars and other bodies. Now the fifth miracle. In atoms, a proton's mass seems preset for a force. Since protons are slightly lighter than neutrons, and due to that difference, neutrons decay into protons. If not arranged by force, a 1% heavier proton would decay into a neutron. If reversed, nuclei break apart. Thus, atoms would disintegrate, and life could not emerge. To form stable DNA and life, protons must be very stable, lasting hundreds of millions of years so they don't decay into positrons. Experiments show proton stability far exceeds our ideas. Some say its life is longer than the universe's age. Now the sixth miracle. Lambda, which drives cosmic acceleration. If lambda is too high, repulsion increases, and the universe expands faster as gravity fades. Eventually, the universe enters a big freeze, with no chance for life. Conversely, if lambda is too low, repulsion is weak. Gravity forces rapid contraction, returning to a Big Bang. Thus, life would have no time to form. So, the universe would be lifeless. In short, if lambda is off, the cosmos either freezes or contracts. And so, viewers, because of these 6 miracles, we exist and live. Under constant expansion, the universe will enter a big freeze. Thus, it becomes lifeless, with no chance for life to form. Conversely, if lambda is lower, reproduction weakens, and dominant gravity causes contraction. It then reverts to its origin, triggering another Big Bang. Thus, life would have no time to develop. Because of these 6 miracles, we exist and live stably. Had any miracle shifted slightly, we might not be here today. So I see you all as miracles. Cherish every day. Never doubt yourself. Now back to our topic. We were born from a chain of cosmic miracles. Thus, Earth, the life-bearing miracle, is uniquely special. Not only is Earth in the habitable zone, but among countless planets. Its mass is 1 in a million. Imagine if Earth were smaller. Its gravity would be much weaker. Each is a miraculous existence. So cherish every day. Don't doubt yourself when facing setbacks. Don't belittle yourself. Now back to the main topic. As mentioned earlier, Earth, which nurtures life, is the most exceptional miracle. Not just because it's in the habitable zone, but because among countless planets, its mass is unique. Imagine, if Earth were smaller, its gravity would naturally weaken. In this vast cosmos, that change matters. Countless planets exist. Not only because they're in the habitable zone, in this vast universe, their numbers are countless. But in terms of mass, Earth is 1 in a million. Just think about it. If Earth were smaller, its gravity would be weaker. And then, everything would be different. It can't hold our atmosphere. And if it were a bit larger, no, it wouldn't. Because it would trap more harmful gases. Thus, under optimal conditions, Earth in the solar system, have you noticed? Except for Pluto, all orbits are nearly circular. This minimizes planetary interactions, promoting life's continuity, because in such orbits, we keep a safe distance from Jupiter and Saturn. Otherwise, their immense gravity would prevent Earth from nurturing life. And the conditions for life require hundreds of millions of years of stability. Thus, Earth alone can't do it. Also, credit goes to our indispensable moon. Though as a satellite, our moon is unusual. Its ideal size stabilizes Earth's rotation and offers huge benefits. All seems meticulously designed. Moreover, there's Jupiter, the king of planets, acting as a shield. Due to its huge gravity over billions of years, it has deflected countless asteroids and comets. Thus, without Jupiter, humanity wouldn't exist, for the sun's gravity would pull all small bodies into the inner system, around Earth. So, asteroid impacts like the one that killed the dinosaurs would occur more frequently. As Carl Sagan once remarked, the universe and miraculous Earth are like a mosquito on Pluto, hit with perfect accuracy. Thus, for us born of these miracles, we might have forgotten how incredible life is, so please don't let negativity drag you down, for life is meaningful. As this video ends, thank you for watching. If you found it helpful, share it with someone dear. Because of the sun's gravity, it draws in all small bodies into the inner solar system. Lastly, making this wasn't easy. Thus, asteroid impacts that wiped out the dinosaurs would occur even more frequently. As famed astronomer Carl Sagan once said, the universe and miraculous Earth are like a mosquito on Pluto, striking with perfect accuracy. Thus, for us born of these miracles, we might forget how incredible our life experience is. So please, everyone, don't let negativity overwhelm you, for life is full of meaning. As this video ends, thank you for watching. If you found it useful, share it with someone you care about. Creating this wasn't easy, so please give the creator some love. Thank you for watching. If you found it useful, share it with someone dear. Creating this wasn't easy, so please show some love to the creator. See you next time.